Hello, today I'm going to be doing my grief share. Um, I've talked a little bit about it before, and for anybody that's watching these back to back, I guess I'll be repeating a little bit, but this is just kind of my story. It's it's what I've been going through every week that's giving me grief. I I've talked a little bit about how we all go through things that um, make us feel like we're in different stages of grief, and I really feel like it's just something we feel all the time. It's not really. I mean, maybe there are some things that are worse than others. Like if you lose a family member, or if you lose a loved one, or um, divorce, and things do seem to uh, make our stages of grief worse. But to me, it's an constant um, stages of grief, I guess. So I'm just kind of explaining how my life is when it feels like I'm going through grief now. So um, I have been through worse things than what I have been talking about since I started my grief share story. When I was living at home, it was terrible. Or living at home with my mother, who was extremely abusive. Um, that's probably what I would consider the worst time of my life. But I think there were also times where um, things were so bad I couldn't even share my story. So um, I guess living at home was during that time. But I remember when I first got married, it was very difficult too, and I didn't feel like I could share my grief story back then. But I'm in a little bit better place to at least share my story and talk about the grief that I'm going through now. And um, I'm I'm happy to hear anybody else's grief share story as well. But anyway, let me just go into it a little bit here. Um, so I guess what I've been going through this last week is, um, again, some of what I've talked about in the past is feeling like I don't really have a purpose. And I think I'm learning more and more that that is something that's necessary for life. I I don't know. I'm learning a lot about what we need to do to feel like we have a purpose, and what God expects us to do to have a purpose. And when I say purpose, I guess I mean something more than just entertaining ourselves. I don't think that that's what we were meant to do. I think we were meant to do something constructive with our lives. If you want to call it a job, that's fine. If you want to volunteer, I mean, there's all different ways I think to have a purpose. Um, but I just see how that's really something necessary for life, and I guess I just didn't really know that before. Um, I've kind of been in the situation of not being able to work for about 5 years, maybe more. But um, I remember when I was living at home, and I wasn't working, or didn't really have a job that really um, made me feel, I don't know if the word is useful, but like I never really had a job that made me feel like I was getting something out of it, I guess. Well, I mean, I did have a job, but I'm just focusing on um, some of my earlier years. I struggled, doing little retail jobs. I remember working at a pizza place at one point, and working as a cashier, and just I never really felt that need inside um, get met, I guess. Um, Sorry, it's a little hard to describe unless you've been through it. I just remember, like, just feeling like I was wasting my time, I guess a lot of time. And then I started into law enforcement, and I really felt like that was maybe not my purpose, but I felt like it met that need of making a difference. And I'm not really saying that I was making as much of a difference as I could have possibly, but I felt like I was making a difference. I felt like I was feeling better about my life. I felt like I was um, getting started in the right direction. I don't know if you've ever seen like it reminds me of like dogs, and maybe not all dogs are this way, but I remember one time I had a dog, um and the dog was just all kinds of like hyper and crazy, and um never seemed like focused, and didn't act it out quite a bit. And I just remember seeing something where, you know, you could get your dog to behave better if you put like a, I don't know if it's really called this, but it looked like a saddle. It was like um a little pack that you put on top of it, and it's like I thought I was reading that it was like it made the dog feel like it had a job, and like dogs, even dogs need to feel like they have a job to do. And so I put this little pack on my dog, and I mean his whole demeanor changed. He was just it I just never seen anything like that. You know, he it felt like he thought that he had a job to do, and he was focused, he was calm. It just changed his mentality. So um I look at humans the same way, like, and I used to think, well, it doesn't matter what the job is as long as you're doing it. Well, that's not true. You have to feel like you have a job that like you feel needed, like you're making a difference, that means something to you. It can't just be any job. And I think ever since I found out I had PTSD and I got married, um, I've just struggled more and more to find that sort of thing for me. And I've seen potential in a lot of ways, but I just I feel like um I get blocked every time, and I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it's um I mean, I want to blame God because it feels like everywhere, every which way I turn, I can't move forward. I've tried to get jobs in the areas that I actually want to get, and I never even get an interview. I've tried to get jobs, um, I mean, volunteer into like a church or something where I see potential, and I get blocked from that too. I don't know how to view these things. Um, I tend to just feel like it's God trying to put me in a certain position, but I don't understand why I continue to be in the position of not being able to um, move forward into an area where I feel like there's purpose. Um, I feel like I am just very unhappy. I'm not focused. I'm destructive because I can't find something that makes me happy. And you know, I've talked a little bit about the trying to conceive stuff in my previous videos, and um a couple weeks ago I thought that I might be pregnant, and I saw the difference in my mentality, like um just like the dog that became focused. I felt like I was more focused and working towards a goal. And um at the same time, I wouldn't say that it's um my purpose in life is to have a baby. I wouldn't go that far, but it did feel like I did feel like a little bit more useful, and I think that it helped me. Um it's just interesting to me how your mentality can change when you have something that you feel like you're a part of, or you feel like you're contributing to something important. But you know, I mean, I've talked about this before too. I can't make things happen. It's the waiting on anything in the future that's hard. It's the waiting for the purpose. It's the waiting for things to get better. It's very hard to see your potential and know that, like, if you if this one thing could happen, you could be a different person. Um you could not be so destructive. I mean, you could have a better life. I mean, it's just hard to just sit there in misery, I guess. Um and and I mean, just like I've said before, I tend to just blame God because I don't know why I'm kind of stuck in this position. I really don't think it would look like this if I could get more opportunities. And it feels like God just blocks my opportunities. And I don't know what that is. I mean, I will say that a lot of it, I do see a part of it is, you know, um, I've had a lot of things that held me back in the past. When I go in to apply for jobs, my job history does not look good. Um, Sometimes I wonder if I don't even if I just say that I never worked, would it look better to people? I don't know, but um, that's what tends to hold me back. My job experience, which of course comes from um, not being able to handle the abuse that I went through, PTSD. I couldn't hold jobs for very long because sometimes I would have physical problems, and so I know it's not all God, but it's like I said in one of my previous videos, why doesn't God intervene? So, you know, I think we all tend to want to blame something when things go wrong, and um, it's like that's what tends to happen for me. So, um, I guess I'm just saying that, like, I understand if you have to blame God, your mind may want to um find a way to understand what's happening, but I think when we don't understand, we tend to blame things that don't make sense. So, um, whatever the truth is, I think it's more likely that you look back and you figure that out one day. It's like they say, hindsight's 20/20. When you look back, everything's clear. So, um, I expect that's what's going to happen to me one day. I'll just have some kind of understanding by looking back. So, um, anyway, I guess that's all I'm really going to say about it. But I hope that things will get better, and I will give another update next week. Thank you for watching.